What size of diesel heater do you need? Let's find out. Hey everyone, welcome to Chasing the Kraken gear and tackle review. So I am going to do a little experiment today. One of the common questions I get asked on my diesel heater related videos is what size of diesel heater do I need? Will a 5 do? Can I get by with a 2? Do I need an 8 kilowatt? Do I put it inside my tent, outside my tent? What do I do? So I'm going to run a little experiment today. So we are outside. Now, according to the weather, it is supposed to be, it's minus 13 out. I do have a temperature gun and I'm going to do a little control on that. So everything that you're going to see in this video has been sitting in my unheated garage, except for the battery, pretty much, and the camera, for the last number of weeks. It's been cold the last couple of days, so everything's, at temperature. I have a foam mat. It's just a 1/4 inch thick foam mat that I typically use. Your setup might be different. We are in a Cabela's 7x7 insulated tent, and I'll show you all that. I'll keep the doors closed, but I'm going to keep one window open on each side. So half of the windows are open, half of the top sunlights are open. I'm in my backyard, to be honest. The sun is shining, but it's not shining on the tent, so the sun's not going to warm us up. Diesel heater says minus 9. Exterior wall of the tent says minus 12. So we're in that range. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to set the diesel heater up, and then we're going to set a timer, and I'm just going to time when it gets to certain intervals, and then at what point I can take my jacket off and sit here in my t-shirt. So that's the idea. So let's run the test. Our little foam mat. This is the diesel heater. So it's a 5 kilowatt Vevor diesel heater. I'm running off of a 50-hour lithium iron phosphate battery. So we have lots of juice there. So what I have is my exhaust routed out through the wall of the tent. Now that has this propane port, and I have the exhaust pipe wrapped in basically it's a fireproof soldering felt blanket. So that's wrapped around there. It's got a little bit of tape just to keep it all together. And then it's running out the outside. I'll give you a view of the outside of the tent. And then there's my exhaust out the outside. I would say with the piping, maybe you're losing 10% efficiency. That's just a guess, all right? But anyway, so here's the tent. So we're just set up in the backyard. Like I said, we have snow all over the flaps. We've got a little extra kick. And we're good to go. We'll batten down the hatches. And of course, there's no wind back here. Okay, let's power her up. Now I'm going to leave it on a power of 10 until it goes through its fire up cycle. This thing does have an external thermostat built in, so hopefully that'll give us a temperature reading as well. And note, I just have a single port. I don't have any piping here. This is typically how I'd run it in the tent. Try and marginalize the room or minimize the room, so that's the idea. But let's give this guy a couple minutes to heat up. Timer started. Okay, we've let it run for a little bit here. It was a little slower start. I just finished taking the pump out. Was trying to make it a little quieter. Didn't work. I wrapped the thing in cotton balls. That still didn't work. It's definitely blowing. So I'm going to change this now to... No. Yeah, so it's reading, currently in here, it's reading minus 11. And I'm going to set this thing for, let's go 16 degrees Celsius. Now, one thing about my little mod here, you can actually put your hand right on this. Almost no heat comes up through the exhaust pipe into here. You always have to be a little bit careful to make sure that this is locked in there. It's cinched out on the outside, but I think it's more efficient having the heater on the inside, but everyone has their own preference. Because the exhaust is separated from the heating air, and that's a whole different system. Basically, all of the carbon monoxide, so long as the exhaust pipe on the bottom is sealed up and well adjusted and not blocked on it anyway, you'll get no carbon monoxide buildup in here because of it. Though I do, of course, keep a carbon monoxide alarm with me. Now, if you're going to set this up in your vehicle, so last year we went out. It was pretty much like -2 degrees. We were up in the mountains going ice fishing, and I had this same heater, a 5 kilowatt, set up in the back of my truck. So I had it exhausted out. The heater was inside the truck, and I had both windows open in the back of the canopy, and it was like 26 degrees in there. I had to shut it off eventually. It was just too hot. So in the back of a smaller vehicle, probably a 2 would actually do you a lot better than the 5. Or you have to have some way to pipe in or to set up some sort of a fan system to bring in more cool air to sort of offset the hot air. Or you have to either that, or you can make some sort of a splitter to take some of that air and dump it out inside the vehicle. So right now we're at -7, and we are almost 5.5 minutes in. Lots of hot air coming out the front, so it's definitely warming up in here quickly. Okay, well, that's new for me. It's never thrown on error code before. E05, I guess we'll look that up. So I looked it up. So E05 is overheating. So one thing that I did do, so my air intake was just sort of sitting down here near the snow. Now it's possible it wasn't getting enough airflow through. So what I'm going to do, grab one of my gloves and make sure this guy is well clear of the snow. Now I've never cleaned this little guy, so hard to say, but let's see. I've got it restarted. While we're waiting, I'll just enjoy a nice Pepsi Zero in my Chasing the Kraken mug. So I customized the design to make this guy on my bamboo A1, and holds the pop can in there pretty sturdily. Hey, we gotta have our hobbies, right? You can see now that it's at 5 degrees away, and you can hear the pump has slowed down, so now it's on a much lower setting. If you absolutely had to get it up to a temperature, someone fell through the ice, you had to warm them up, just put it on power of 10 and let it run. Don't use the thermostat. This is all a little confusing, but this is down and this is up. Think of it that way. Right is up, left is down, and then this is the kind of the power button, but multi-purpose sort of function button. If you hold it down for a couple seconds, there, you get back to the manual. So now you can set it for 10. You can hear the pump is starting to ramp back up again. According to the heater, we just hit 9 degrees. Still says it's -13 outside, which I don't think is completely accurate, but let's say it's -10 in this area. Like I'm wearing like these thin little sweatpants because I'm just in my backyard. This little hoodie, which I could probably take off. It's plenty warm in here, so I'm going to call that. According to the heater, it's been on for 41 minutes. Now that's from the time that I connected the power, and then there was a delay in just getting everything set up for the filming. According to the timer of actual heating time, probably 20 minutes, and that's with that error in there as well, right? One question that people have asked is, what power, do I need to run the thing at max to maintain a temperature? Well, consider this. So it's -10 right now outside, it's +10 inside, and this thing is just ticking away. Tick, 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 tick. Basically 2 beats a second. I think that equates to power of 2. Well, let's try it out. 1,000, 2, 1,000. So on a power of 2, it was not only maintaining the temperature, it was actually increasing it. And this is a nice tent, but it's not like it's not some Gucci, you know, $1,000 super tent. Honestly, even at -20, like, I don't know if I'd have to run this thing above 4 or 5. And I have been out for a 3-day, and, you know, once again, I didn't really run it that hard. I would tend to set it, and then I usually kept it in manual mode, to be honest, and I would just set it at a 1 or a 2, and it was fine. So, and that includes going out of the tent to check tip ups, that sort of thing. From all of us here at the channel, which is me, all of us. So from me, Jordan, at the channel, Chasing the Kraken, thanks for tuning in. And if you're on the fence about a diesel heater, they're awesome. I think I went through a tank of fuel in maybe 2 days, and then I had to refill. Power consumption, it's actually not bad on the battery. What's really hard on these is, you know, starting and stopping and starting and stopping. That's what really sucks up the juice. But on this battery, and I'll throw in my link to my review video somewhere over there, it's been great. 50 amp hour lithium iron phosphate would probably run it for, well, almost the entire 3 days, like a double overnighter if I wanted to. But I always keep a spare battery anyway, but this is lots. And you can always run a solar panel if you want. So if you're on the fence and it's Black, well, I don't know when you'll watch this video, but I'll try and get it out fairly soon, but it's the Black Friday weekend. You can get these things for like $100. You can buy the kits for around that, maybe a little bit less, and just build your own, put it into your case. You know, you're not stuck with you know, you can totally enclose the pump if you wanted to, and prevent, you know, this noise and insulate it that way. So you've got all kinds of options. I like you know, this factor. I kind of wish I had one of the shorter, stubbier ones where the fuel tank is off to the side, but that's more aesthetics than anything else. So from me to you, we'll see you on the ice, and thanks for tuning in.